That, Walid, floor is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you very much. How you doing, everybody? My name is Walid Amro. I'm a cloud solution architect. I'm a developer advocate at Microsoft. And today's topic is going to be about GitHub Copilot for Business. So I'm not going to go through this. This is usually like 62 slides is like a 4-hour session. So I'm going to try to compress it in 30 minutes over here. Hopefully you'll benefit from this time. So what is the GitHub Copilot, and why Microsoft is talking about it? Because this is a GitHub. We are not GitHub, we are Microsoft. As you know, GitHub was purchased by Microsoft a few years ago, and they come up with a software that helps developers to accelerate coding. And actually, they came up with this even before ChatGPT was popular. And when ChatGPT came out, actually, GitHub started to use the GPT model for the large language models, AI behind it, and we start to use it as well. There's a lot of information about the back end of this, but since we are short of time, I cannot explain it. Maybe Naveed, maybe at a different one, we can do another session only about the back end, how it works, because it's a little bit fascinating. Excuse
Yep,
me, somebody is
absolutely.
talking.
No,
Can some?
no, don't worry about it. I will mute everybody, and
Okay.
so I will take care of it. Yes, we can definitely talk about sometime like how the backend works, and we can.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead.
Okay, and also we can talk about how LLMs work and stuff because it's actually almost the same way as well, and it will hopefully help you. So this AI, Copilot will help you to write code, and it's called Copilot because it is not the pilot. You are the pilot, and it's the Copilot, and you are actually the pilot, and it's just telling you information, and you take it or leave it. And the best way to give you information is to actually, make sure that you work with it and give it enough information to really, really help you. Okay. So Copilot, we have different versions of that. It's a piece of software that you can install it in many places. And there is one actually for individuals that you can purchase it. You don't have to be an organization. It's like around $100 a year, which is excellent price. And plus, if you have an organization, you have two options. You can get the one for business, which we are going to talk about today, and there is one higher one for enterprise. The one for business is around $19 per month, and the enterprise one is around like $49 per month. And the enterprise one, you can only have it if your repo is already saved inside GitHub. If you don't have it, you will not benefit from the enterprise version of it. So this GitHub Copilot you can install it in different IDEs. Actually, you can put it in Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio 2022, which is version 17.8 or higher. You can have it. And also you can have it in the CLI actually. If you have I did not want to do that, but let me just do it for a minute. If you go over here inside the CLI and say you can install it and say GitHub Copilot, and if you put help, okay, and you'll see that you have a lot, and you have suggest over here. So let's say suggest, and over here how to log into Azure CLI from command prompt. Okay, and if you just put this question over here and you put enter, now the Copilot is going to work internally. So if you are struggling with command prompts, like me, sometimes to remember something, so it's generic command shell. Let's say, hey, you need AZ login. This is what you need. Say, yeah, you can revise, or you can use your cursor up, cursor down button on the keyboard, say, hey, copy it to the clipboard. Now is the clipboard. So you right click on the mouse and it does that. And if you put enter now, you can go on. So this is amazing to have actually in the CLI. So a lot of developers, if you are developing and you need to do command prompts, it will tell you. So it has all the knowledge about the CLS. If you open it over here, for example, with PowerShell, it can work with that. If you have also have Linux installed on your Windows and you need to use Bash, also it will work with all,
Dilip, if you
you
don't mind, can you increase the size? I mean, it's maybe people like me who are very nearsighted.
know.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate them. So over here, you can, you can actually work with any shell, environment installed on your computer. So let's forget about this for now and focus on Visual Studio. And Visual Studio, you have if you are a .NET developer, usually you will use Visual Studio 2022 over here, and let's look at 2022 over here. And by default, if you have version, this is the latest version I have, which is 17.10.5. Of course, there is a newer one, which is the pre-release, but I'm talking about the GA ones. This is the latest one. So if you have that one, 10.0 actually, that means GitHub Copilot now is built into Visual Studio. Before that version, actually, you need to have install it through extensions. And you need to install two extensions, which is one called GitHub Copilot, and the other one is GitHub Copilot Chat. And now, by default, if you install and if you go to the installer over here, I just show you very quick over here. And if you have the installer over here, if you would see over here and modify, it is part actually of, if you see over here, the GitHub Copilot is part of the .NET Now updates, which is awesome. Okay, so how we can use this one inside, inside Visual Studio. Visual Studio, as you see over here, what you can do is let's do start and create a new project, and say, for example, let's create a new project, and you could put anything over here is like this ASP.NET Core API, for example, and let's say okay, and as like Azure test, whatever name you want to do, and .NET 8 and everything as okay, and create. So now there is no GitHub Copilot. So far it's working, and maybe in the future we're going to have the Copilot create instead of doing a template, you'll just tell it and type in what you need to do, and it will create the project for you. Hopefully, I already suggested that to the product group, so hopefully they will do that. So far there is no Copilot. Where is the Copilot here? We don't see it. It's over here. If you have the older version, it will be down here. It will be on this taskbar. You can see it. But the new one is already here, which you can open the chat window because it has the chat part, and you have the settings. If you want to do the settings, if you can open over here, you can see the settings of the Copilot over here. You can change the settings for Copilot. So when you need to create something over here, how do you develop? And it's actually could be natural way of doing things. So you go over here, you're gonna do a new service layer, for example, and you're gonna say, hey, service layer, and you're gonna create a new, for example, new class and called temperature converter. So this is a temperature converter class. Let me just go, and so far there is no AI, nothing is normal. So you go over here and you say enter like this. And look at this. Now the AI starts. I know a lot of you already know IntelliSense. This feels like IntelliSense, and actually, this is called Copilot completion. There is two types of or two ways how you can work with it. It's the inline way, which is the completion, and there is the chat. The other one, chat, is over here. So you have the
Hey,
chat over here. Go ahead.
Sorry, man. Once again, can you? Yeah, thank you very much. That's much better.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I was like, I have the 4K screen. And thank you, Navid, again for telling me. Sorry. Okay. So what you do over here is you have a chat. This is it is if you already know like OpenAI, ChatGPT is the same idea over here. Okay, but this is integrated. It's like Walid, why we can use ChatGPT, or even Bing, because Bing also has, it has like the copilot.microsoft.com, and it's exactly like ChatGPT, except it's for free and you use the latest models over there. I don't know if you used it or not, but if you go to copilot.microsoft.com, this is exactly the latest ChatGPT over there, which is for free for you. And plus, it has all the Bing features and it's inside. And it's amazing, by the way. After that, I don't search anymore. I just use that one as my default search engine because I get my answer the first time all the time. Okay. So this inline, if you see over here, it just told you that, hey, look at this. Let's go back again and return back. And this is only by doing enter, it just gives you. And it say, hey, double Fahrenheit to Celsius. And you pass the Fahrenheit and it will does. And then Celsius to Fahrenheit. What is that? How did it know? This is like a lot of creepy, a lot of developers at the beginning, they think, oh my God, you know, this is going to take my job or something. No, this is not going to take your jobs. I'm just letting you know from the beginning this is not about that. And the AI over here, it's just a tool in your tool belt. A lot of people they are not developers, and when they listen to capabilities like, oh, AI can write programs and stuff, they think, oh, AI is going to take over all over the world, and it's not true. Maybe at least not now. but but over here, you have to pay attention, to the latest technologies. And right now, it is a co-pilot. It's going to help you. You need to be there. If you think you are the Flash in development and you're so fast, with the co-pilot, you'll be Superman. Okay, and you can fly. And if you lose, and by the way, fair warning: after a few months of using the co-pilot, if you stop that feature, you feel like Superman went to a red sun planet and lost all his powers, exactly like this. And one time I had to stop it for some reason. Oh my God, I started like to what I felt the absence of it. So watch it. Once you use it, it's going to be very hard to lose it. Okay. So how we accept this? So if you say tab, normally like IntelliSense, exactly right away, it will give you all of this code. But sometimes this code you don't want. It's not good enough. It does not have error checking and stuff. So what you need to do, there is a lot of way how you work with it. So before we do that, also I want you to know that over here, see, it will say, hey, maybe you need Calvin as well. But how did it know all of these things? It just sends this information. It will say, hey, you're talking about temp. Maybe this is temperature, not temporary, and it's converter. And you know what? Change converter. I think, and it will send it, by the way, the Copilot will send it to the service in the back end. And by the way, this is all private. It's within this session. Nobody knows about it. We don't record anything for you. We just do telemetries for how many tabs, how many accepted ones, but we don't keep anything. We don't keep your code. The AI does not learn from your code at all, and we don't share whatever code that you put there with everybody else, or even with ourselves. Okay, this is the promise, and we have a link especially talking about that, and that's where I wanted to talk more, Naveed, about that to have people rest assured that we don't use that. Okay. So so over here, like how we can talk to it more, because sometimes not always it can detect. So it's not magic. It just thought about smartly from this one that you're talking about temperature and predicted what you need to do, because if temperatures is a public knowledge. But what happens if you're working on something that is not public knowledge? It will not give you anything, and it might not give you these suggestions. But you can tell it over here what you need, but maybe you don't need that. So how do you talk to it? It's like you talk like this, like, hey, see, look at this. It even told you maybe you want to do something here. It's like, no, no, no. Create a method to pass uh, any temperature. For example, on opposite, like this. Look at this. It's like, hey, look at this. It just did what I wanted to do. And it did it in, and if I like that one, and it's your role over here more to be able to, to review the code and fix it or add whatever you want. But the beauty about it, it just did the boilerplate, code for you. And instead of just typing all this in 5 minutes, now you can do it in a few seconds. Okay, so it might not be the end results, and this is what we need actually. If it does 50%, 60, 70, 80% of the code for you, that is enhanced speed for you in coding. It's like, okay, I want to do what else it can do. It can do repetitive work as well. So how is that? It's like so I say public constant string. Not string. Uh, and you say freezing, and see, look at this. It just detected freezing point in C like this. Look at this. Repetitive work. It detected what you want. And please, if somebody please mute your microphone. Okay. And over here, boiling. See, it just detected by itself that this is, the AI. And look at this. Look at this. And now it's like, okay, there is no other temperatures. I think you want to like, for maybe see public. Let me add another one. See, absolute zero. Say, hey, maybe you want to go to absolute zero and C and absolute in this one, right? That's it. Okay, perfect. See? So that's now beautiful now. So all of this is amazing, but this is the first feature. There is now, what about the chat then? The chat actually can do more and more. Actually, it's like 10, 100 times more beneficiary than this. This is if you want you're a skilled developer and you just want to go with the flow, you can use this method and it will help you. It's exactly like IntelliSense, and it goes even further than IntelliSense, more, much, much, much more.
Believe
So
a question is on the chat window. What languages does it support? Do you know?
it supports all the languages that is
Oh, that's good.
available online in GitHub, all of them. The more the language popular, the more this AI is expert in. Okay, if there is a language that let's say COBOL is very it's not, then that means maybe it does not know about COBOL, but it does know COBOL because there is some on GitHub. It can find COBOL and it will learn from it, and it will learn online. So we feed it and train it, and that's the talk about the back end as well, and how we train it and how we do this, because this is the big topic. Okay, so good question. Please keep the questions coming. Okay, so over here, like what I can do as well over here is like, so you can come over here and now you have a context. How to do a context? Either you highlight the code if you want, and I say, hey, I want to do something with this code. And you come over here, and now you already have the context of the highlighted code for you. And over here, we have multiple things you can do. And if you see, you have a forward slash and you have a pound. So if you put a / and say, for example, doc, that documentation. So that's it. Now we need to talk a little bit about prompting. Over here is very important. The more better the prompt. We have also something called a zero-shot prompting and a single shot and a multi-shot prompting. What does that mean? The more information you give it, the better the quality the code it will give you. It's like you go to a restaurant and say, hey, give me food, and they bring you a burger and fries and say, okay, I did not want this, I want chicken. And it's like, but you did not order chicken, you just ordered food. And the same thing over here. You cannot just say, write me a program or a class to do this, and you don't give it any more information. It's going to give you uh, you know, anything it thinks it's correct, but it's not always correct. So you have to go and you can talk to it, of course, multiple times, like GitHub Copilot, like ChatGPT, and you can converge with it, but that will take more time. If you want it to give you from the first time, then it's better to give it a better prompt from the beginning. So if you say, hey, I want a doc, and which is an amazing feature for documenting code. So and look at this. It's what you'll do. Perfect, because I highlighted only this, it gave me this one. So how do I do this? I just click over here, and if you can see over here, maybe because it's too big, and look at this. It just told me, hey, this code that you put, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to put on the top. Do you accept? And this is the telemetry we get. I was talking about. It's like, I like this one. I don't like this one. You have to, and this, and accept. And we say, and we tell you, the administrators, oh, we have like, this developer did 100 accepts and he did something good like this. But we don't tell them what you put in the prompt. We don't report, what suggestion you had. But no, so full privacy for you. Even at the business level, we don't give this information back. Look at this. It just did all of this for us in a single second. It read the code, understood what it does, and it just gave us all of this. So I don't want to do this one by one. Hey, chat, let me see. So can I say, hey, I say /doc, okay? And over here, we have something else. We call have doc pound, and now it's all the files, okay? So it's temperature in, and I say, hey, document the whole class for me, okay? Or you can even type it. You don't have to say, okay, read this class and provide documentation for it. So now it will say, hey, you are talking about the, look at this. It just suggesting the whole class, all the documentation. So if you have a lot of technical debt for documentation, or you go to a legacy code and you want documentation, this is the right way to do it, okay? And of course, you need always to revise. So you review over here and you can look at it, okay, looks good, everything, and accept. Okay, perfect. Look at this. Your code now is totally commented everything, and you can just make sure, okay, perfect, everything is good. Okay, but I created all these, constants, and it's not using those ones. Say, okay, say, hey, can you please? And I'm saying please because just in case in the future AI control the world, I will be. I say I was nice to you from the beginning, and you don't have to say please. By the way, okay, can you please use the constants in the class and replace all numbers. You don't have to be precise. The AI will figure out what you're trying to do. And look at this, because I'm using the 32 over here, whatever. And look at this. So I go over here, preview, and I see over here, okay, so it's freezing 32, freezing Fahrenheit. Look at this. Everything is perfect. I accept. Now all my code is using this one. So it is amazing by changing and accelerating. If you can see how you can accelerate, it's amazing. Okay, so go ahead.
Waleed, there's a question. One is, what about the UI? Is there any UI UX support? I mean,
For UI
creating a
UX.
UI. Yes.
Yeah, we don't have, unfortunately, UI. This is an excellent question. We don't have. I think these are features coming up, in the future. Okay, so we're coming up with those features, one by one. By the way, every month there is a new thing. We're gonna talk about them. I think we don't have enough time to talk about a lot of these features. Another thing you can do, test, but the UI, it could help you write down these UI changes inside the code, not inside the UI. If you're going to do, for example, WinForms or WPF or whatever you want to do, it's still not there, but I think it's coming. Okay. So tests over here, you can do, hey, do a test and a pound for this one. Okay. And you can say, use, for example, MS test to write positive or negative tests. Okay. And now look at this. It will create, if you have technical debt on this, it will create everything for you. And just put bigger prompts for, certain things. Look at this. Very nice. Amazing. All of these. Now it did all these unit tests for me. You can tell it, hey, I want like 3 or 4 different tests for everyone. And you can just go and do them. And already use that AAA methodology. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is a lot of people. They don't waste. Usually, you take days to write, and developers hate to write unit tests. Now you don't have an excuse. This is just few seconds. You just go within few minutes. You update. You go and and you get your unit test there, and you add the ones that the AI cannot figure out by itself because you have special cases, and now you have TDD development very fast, and it's amazing, and it understand a lot of concepts. Another thing it will do,
Ben,
there is.
sorry,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt, Ben. I really appreciate. There are two questions that I think very important. I think they are on privacy. Will company details stay private?
Yes, and I said
Okay,
this at the beginning.
okay, okay.
Uh, every single company, we don't, the AI does not learn from this. We don't copy anything. Every company, because imagine if we do this, nobody will use it, and then it's not a good tool. Nobody will use it. We cannot do this, okay? And we don't use any code for learning, and there's ways to make sure that this is not right. Put any code that you have proprietary in it, and after you close the session and reopen it back and ask it the same question, it will not know. That tells you that, because you can't tell if it knows or not. Okay, so we never use that one, not for us, not for somebody else. So that means if you go and write a code, and somebody else from your competition writes exactly the same code, they will not find this code. Perfect, because now it learned this code, now it will give it to them. No, this will never happen. Okay, Naveed, what else? What other question we have?
I think that's it. That's it. I think there's one about the code. It will stay private, but you already answered yes, it will be private. So we are right on time. We are 1 minute above. Any questions?
Yeah, I want to just 1 second, because I have another
Yeah, yeah,
meeting, and
please.
I just wanted to show another one. See the uh, uh, Copilot. Sorry, I just need to see which folder I put this one. Any other questions, guys?
I know, folks, we are a bit over. So since it's recorded, so please stay if you can.
Okay. Okay, so over here, something, because a lot of .NET developers, they use like SQL Server or something back end, and sometimes you need, hey, it knows understand SQL as well. Like you have those tables, for example. Look at this, and you say you need to write a query for, and this query, for example, I already wrote this query, so this way it doesn't take time. So you have over here same thing. You install in Visual Studio Code, you install the GitHub Copilot, You have two extensions, the Copilot and Copilot Chat, and then you connect with your GitHub Copilot account, and now it works. And over here at the end, over here, it is the one over here, down here. I know you cannot see it, I'm sorry, but you know, since we don't have time. So after here, you put the chat over here, and let's clean and put the new chat over here. And I say, okay, we have something called agent, and say GitHub command terminal. You can help you with terminal or VS Code itself questions or workspace. So say in the workspace, okay, and you need to generate, and you can just paste, write a complex one, join, and you tell it what to do, and now it will check your see, look, it checked the customer table, product table, and this one, and now it's already there. And now here is your complex query that I know a lot of developers, they go crazy about joins and stuff, but look how easy, and it's already there. And now you get it and put it in the SQL Server Management Studio and test it over there and make sure it's working. You can go on back to it and say, hey, this one did not work, and I got this, and it will go and it fix itself, and it will, tweak itself. And you can put any language over it. If it's Python, it knows from the extension file, and it will write and help you write code in any language you want. Okay. So I'm sorry it was so fast. There is a huge amount of information about it, and there is new things coming up next week actually to debug. Copilot will debug with you inside Visual Studio itself. And there is some debugging features. Once now you stop, break your your code stops. Now you can right click on it and it will say, hey, ask Copilot, and now it will put a plan for you on how to fix this bug and why you have this exception happening. And in the new features, if you build and you have a problem with error list, you can now choose the error list and right click and fix those, suggest fixes. It's amazing. There is a huge things coming out, guys. Okay, I think we are out of time, guys.
Thank you very much. I know it's a lot of stuff, but you covered it very well. So thank you very much. And folks, please IM the questions and we'll do our best to reply. And thank you, Walid, for your time, and thank you everyone for joining, and hope to see everybody next week for another session of Azure Powerland. So
thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.